Let's move on now to the Zach Lomax situation. No R360, which he was going to go to. And now Melbourne Storm are making a play for Zach. Now, the clubs yesterday apparently are not happy at all. Don't think it should be allowed. Don't think that the NRL should allow the Melbourne Storm to make a player or sign him. How does this sit with you, Coops?
I think Melbourne Storm have a right to have a go at him, but I think Jason Rolls and Parramatta Eels have rights to Lomax. So he's chosen to play his card, Zach, and he's probably missed what he wanted to do. And now he's in a little bit of limbo. But ultimately, it's up to the Eels. If they get some juicy compensation, by all means. But if it's not juicy enough, hold on to that right of Zach Lomax.
What juicy compensation do you think? What's it going to take?
If I'm Riles and Eels, it's good. It's a money, it's a player. Like, they hold all the power here. Every club can knock on the door of Parramatta Eels and say, I want Zach. But unless it ends up being complimentary or beneficial for the Eels.
Well, let's look at the Eels. What do they need? I'll come to you on this, Mick. What do the Eels probably need? Losing Zach, what player swap could they make? What player could they go for in Melbourne? Because that's essentially what's going to happen. You would think, if you're Parramatta, you're not just going to let him go to Melbourne. But if they can get something out of it, which would be a player in return, who would it be?
Well, obviously they've lost a quality outside back in Lomax. So you're thinking someone of Coates or Warbrick are the type of player that they'd obviously be after as an outside back. There's talk about Jack Howarth because centre has been an area that they've been looking to fill. Obviously, Penasini's done a really good job there, but they've also had a number of other centres that have tried that.
And Howarth can play probably back row too, right?
The other one's front row, because Junior obviously has come into the back end. He was superb last year, probably had one of his best seasons, but he's not getting any younger either. And Melbourne have got some good young forwards coming through there. So
what Melbourne are short on, though, are outside backs. That's why they're going for Zach.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think, with a lack of depth there, I think in those positions they're going to give away a Howarth.
But then
the two you mentioned, Warbrick and
they're not going to let go. That is the like-for-like replacement, but it's not going to happen.
No.
So then if it's a mid-tier player with some cash, if I'm the Eels, I'm saying, no, I just want Xavier Coates.
So they're not going to let go.
Don't bother.
What are they chasing Lomax for? Like, if you've got Farlong at fullback and you've got Coates and Warbrick on your wings.
Centre.
Zach Lomax at centre.
No, I know we've been through this, and he wanted to go there originally to be a centre, but I would assume that's what they're after him for, because Howarth, I think, as amazing as he's done, I don't think he was a natural centre, was he? Was he always a natural centre? He was a back rower, and he's done a great job there. But you can see Melbourne have fallen short in big games and lacked a bit of firepower on their edges, I believe, and probably in the forwards a little bit. But to get to that next level, they're a great team. But, is Jack the answer for them?
They are not the only club that will be knocking on the Eels' door. This will continue on until someone comes up with,
And what should the NRL do?
Well, NRL just let it play out. It's up to the
NRL
Eels.
need to back Parramatta.
Yeah, 100%
the fact of the matter was
that.
that Zach Lomax had signed a contract, and that contract has to remain. And the fact that Parramatta got their ducks in a row and said, no problem, if you want to go and chase that money, that's great, and we're happy to support you to do that. But we also had a long-term plan with you and signed you to that. So therefore, you can't play until 2029 in the NRL.
Fair enough.
So that then has to remain. Unless Parramatta turn around and say, we're happy with the player that we're receiving and we're happy with the financial benefit that we're receiving from Melbourne, we're happy to let...
I don't think the NRL play a part in this at all.
That's the thing,
This is literally the Parramatta Eels.
That's what I was going to say.
100%.
So all the pressure from the clubs now, well, they're putting heat on the NRL to not allow it to happen. Really, it's not the NRL's problem, right? So the clubs should be more, they're probably more wary of...
Purely up to the Eels and Jason Rolls what they want to do. If they feel like they've got something worthwhile letting Zach go, by all means. But until that moment happens, this story will just keep bubbling along until someone comes up with something.
Unfortunately for Zach, the situation is what it is, because he obviously left Parramatta without securing the 360, the contract, or at least having something concrete in place. So
I think see a lot of probably players in clubs and even fans look at it and think, Zach, as much as he had every right, well, he turned his back on the Eels, right?
Yeah.
Turned his back on the game.
Yeah.
For a more lucrative offer. That's gone to shit. Well, hang on, I want to come back.
Yeah.
People don't like that.
No, they don't.
You know, and I think that's really what it's all about, you know. But Zach is a different, I know Zach quite well. He was living near me in Coogee, great bloke.
That big house on the hill, mate, that you live on.
He had a big
the one
house.
where you look down on the
I was
beach and
back,
everything.
You know, I was in a little shack back a few streets.
Boys,
back.
sit on your balcony, wave down to everyone.
Sorry about the Coogee Bay a few times. No, he's a bit like Pappenhausen in a way. They kind of beat to their own drum, and I kind of like that, right? They're their own sort of human beings. They go out on a limb, they back themselves. I love that, right? He's a bit different, and you've been coached by Craig Bellamy. Do you think that he'd fit in well down there?
100%. Yeah, doesn't matter what your lifestyle is, doesn't matter what style of football you are. Craig Bellamy gets one thing out of every player. That's once you come to Melbourne Storm, you buy into what he's doing. So absolutely that would work. Even to the point that I think Zach has struggled defensively in the centres. Craig can teach him that. Like he's one of the best coaches in the game, and
that's their number one there, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Zach, it was the tough call from Shane Flanagan to say, "Hey, you're playing on the wing this year. That's what the team needs from you." And to his credit, he went after that. Craig's going to make those same tough decisions and have the same expectations. And Zach's shown that effort style of when he actually invests in that. It took him from a club player to a test player.
To one of the best wingers in the game.
Absolutely. So there's no doubt that he can do it. And I think being under a coach that's willing to make those tough calls like the Flanagans and the Bellamys are exactly what works for Zach.
Quick one, crystal ball. What happens to him? Where's he land? Do you reckon Melbourne get him?
No.
No. Mick?
Who knows?
Just
I
don't.
I'm
going to say yes.
I think this story
yes.
takes completely a different tangent.
I'll say yes too because
it's
your birthday. We're having coffee.
It was yesterday.
We're having coffee.
It was yesterday, mate. Move on.